Hey, everybody.
Hi, guys.
Well, from Salt Lake City, Utah.
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
The podcast. I'm Dan.
And I'm Rachel, filling in for Frank.
Yeah, you're a girl.
I know.
We got a girl on the show and everything.
Is it weird? Does it feel weird?
Feels kind of weird.
Yeah.
I feel like we're betraying the masculinity that this show generally portrays.
It is a pretty manly show.
Frank and I think we can all agree that Frank and I are the manliest of men.
I think sometimes when I picture you guys recording, I imagine that you have the headset on, but that you're chopping wood.
Yeah,
you're
exactly. Exactly. Wood chopping.
Wood chopping.
Or engineering a train.
Roping wild animals into
Sure.
pens.
Yeah, exactly. The ferocious skink or something. I don't know. Is that an animal? I think that's an animal.
I think it might be a reptile or amphibian or something. Something kind of salamandery.
There you go. That's manly. I like it. Well, okay. Coming up on today's show, we're going to hear a couple of interviews that Frank and I recorded back at the American Atheist Convention. A couple of them. More girls, as a matter of fact.
That's because this is the girl show.
This is the girl show. We're very estrogenic in this show. I barely count as a male myself, so this is a very girly show. I'm liking it. It's already I like the fact that there's.
Right.
I should clarify, by the way, for our longtime listeners, you are not the Rachel that has hosted before.
I am not.
You're a different one.
Yes, but
Are we sure about that?
I'm pretty sure because this is very new and strange for me.
And alarming? Are you alarmed?
No, I'm settling in.
Oh, good. You're doing great. Good so far. Off to a good start.
Thank you.
But we'll see how you do when you present to us a story.
Oh.
Go.
Okay.
On your mark, get set. Tell us about a story.
Okay. Well, I have a question for you. Do you remember, or does the name Bob McDonnell mean anything to you?
He had a farm, right? E-I-E-I-O?
E-I-E-I-O. Yeah. He also was a governor.
Oh, of a state?
Of Virginia.
Oh, that's a state. I guess that qualifies as a state.
It was a state. It's still a state for the time being.
Uh-huh.
Well, I first heard of him when people were talking about, they were referring to him as Governor Ultrasound.
Oh, because he has magic powers?
Magic powers. And a little doctor kit.
Oh, that's right. That's what we were talking about there.
No, it wasn't just Virginia. I think it was North Carolina also. They were trying to pass a law that said that any woman who wanted to have an abortion had to have an ultrasound.
Oh, right.
And most of those cases, because it's early on, you can't do the external ultrasound. You have to do a transvaginal ultrasound.
Oh, that sounds less pleasant.
Yeah.
I mean, none of them sounds particularly pleasant, I suppose.
Well, the thing that I remember most about it was that the idea of the law is that if you want to abort your fetus, you must first see image of said fetus.
Oh, you're right.
By looking at
looking at right in the almost formed
silhouette,
eyes.
The silhouette.
Oh, right.
But the thing that they did clarify was that you don't have to look.
Oh, right. I remember this now.
Right.
It's all coming back to me. You have to have a very invasive procedure.
Right.
But
you don't. So they were asking, like, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to hold her head and force her to look at the camera or the photo or whatever before she can leave? They're like, no, she can avert her eyes, which told me, okay, so looking at the photo, optional.
Right.
Probing up the hoo-ha, not optional.
Less so.
Right.
Less so.
Which made me just want to, well, okay, if I can avert my eyes, can I avert my baby hole?
No. That's
what if whoa, oh, you missed me.
If you dance around a little.
Again.
I think you have not found a loophole there. No.
Best two out of three.
No. Absolutely not. So why are we talking about this guy?
Okay, we're talking about him because he's no longer governor, and he finished up his term, but he has been indicted.
Oh dear.
For federal douchebaggery, I believe, is the legal term.
So we're back up hoo-haws again then, are we?
Well, he took a lot of bribes.
Oh.
He accepted a lot of gifts and watches and fancy cars and stuff like that.
And that's a problem for you?
For me personally, well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Also,
a problem.
It's also a problem for everybody else.
Right. Well, so he and his wife were indicted. They're awaiting trial, but there's a shining light for Bob McDonald.
Oh, thank God, because I was worried. I was starting to worry about him.
Yeah, he got a part-time job.
Okay.
He's teaching at Liberty University.
Oh, LibU.
Yeah.
That's that's a Christian-y university.
Yeah, it's Jerry Falwell's thing.
Fancy big place.
Fancy thing. He's teaching government.
Oh, good. Is he teaching what not to do?
I doubt it. Because that would require a little bit of acknowledgement.
Right. So what is he teaching?
Well, according to this article from the Washington Post, the school has said that McDonald was seen as a good fit for the Helm School. The Helm School is the government college, which blends the study of politics, criminal justice, and international relations with a Christian worldview, the school says on its website.
Including bribe taking.
Right.
That's pretty Christian.
Mm-hmm. It was established 10 years ago to develop leaders who are guided by duty, honor, morality, and civic virtue, the site says. So he can teach, he has a lot to say about these things.
About duty.
Duty. Yes.
You said duty.
You started it.
It's true. Well, there you go. I mean, it's not like there's any hypocrisy there.
No.
Frankly, that's who you want to learn from. Although, no, I take it back. The guy you want to learn your government from is the guy who gets away with it. Not the guy who gets caught.
Right.
You don't want the guy that gets caught.
So they should have waited to offer the position to him until the result of the trial.
Maybe. No, because that would have smelled like they cared about it. They just needed to find a corrupt politician who never got charged with anything.
Right.
That's what they... Oh, boy. Well, there you go. Yeah. Go take the class, y'all. Anyone near Liberty? Do you have any idea where Liberty University is?
I don't.
I don't know where it is either. We could look it up, but it doesn't matter to me enough to actually care to do it.
It's on Earth.
Well, that might be debatable. I'm not sure about that, but there you go. Okay, I'm going to switch us to California, where there's been a problem, where actually there's a genius new thing that I am totally going to maybe use someday, which is a good way to get out of jury duty.
Ooh. Everybody needs that.
Right, exactly. Like, you can't really get out of jury duty. I don't think you can get out of it by saying it's against my religion, because there is apparently, I'm guessing there's no religion that says you can't do jury duty.
There's no conscientious objection
to jury duty. I don't think so. But a Sikh man, Sikh, I think they say Sikh, but I like Sikh, and ye shall find. Anyway, so the Sikh man was called for jury duty, but was not allowed in due to his ceremonial kirpan dagger, which they're all required to wear.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's this dopey little thing. They're supposed to wear a sword, but usually in the U.S. they wear just a little dagger, and it's ceremonial theoretically, but they're supposed to be able to like defend themselves if they need to.
Oh, okay. So you can't just have like a imitation plastic.
No, it's like a for real thing or whatever. So this guy couldn't. Now he was upset. He said, I feel very strongly that as a citizen of the United States, I should be able to serve as a juror, and maybe, but not if you're wearing that knife, Mr. Singh, Mr. Gursant Singh, which is his name. That's the name of the guy. Anyway, I just thought that was a brilliant way of getting out of jury duty. Because you can't say it's against my religion to do jury duty. But you can say it's against my religion not to have this knife.
Right. Well, I guess I'm curious now about what that's all about. Like, it has to be on your person at all times. You can't have it with you and then leave it with the lost and found lady.
No, I don't think you can. I think you're supposed to, like, hold on to that shit. So there you go. Convert to Sikhism if you want to get out of jury duty.
Okay.
I got to carry my knife.
I'm going to consider that.
I don't think they'd believe me if I told them I mean, maybe if I learned to tie a good turban. Mm-hmm. If I learned to tie a good-looking turban, not some ate-up old, like, white guy trying to simulate a turban.
Right.
But if I did a good one, maybe they'd buy it.
Maybe.
No, I don't think they would.
You couldn't do your creative beard trims anymore.
Well, I do. I am very frequently in various stages of beardness.
Yeah, you like to play with the mustache length.
Apparently I do, yeah. Well, I mean, I do shows. So usually my beard is not my own.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
It's somebody else's
It's
job.
a rental.
I'm just borrowing this. No, I mean the style. It's up to somebody else. Anyway, what do you got?
Okay, well, I kind of wanted to touch back on something that Frank was talking about a couple weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
He was talking about Ayaan Hirsi Allah. Yes,
Okay.
Ali. Sorry, I said her name wrong.
That's
Let's
okay.
say that again. Ayaan Hirsi Ali.
Uh-huh.
And she was, just as a refresher, being offered an honorary degree from Brandeis University.
Oh.
But
Right. Oh, right. Yeah.
Right. But
and then they said, never mind.
yeah, because CARE got involved.
Remind me who's CARE.
Council for American Islamic Relations.
I think there should be a segment of CARE that's big furry gay guys, and they could be the Care Bears. Wouldn't that be great?
That would be great.
I think they'd have to have a little picture on their tummies, though. Anyway, sorry, go on.
That might conflict with some other.
There might be,
I don't know.
You feel like there might be a copyright infringement issue there?
Possibly. So Hirsi Ali is the executive producer of a film that came out in March called The Honor Diaries.
Okay.
And it is about honor killings and honor violence in cultures.
It's a Klingon thing, or?
Oh, that is kind of Klingon-y now that you mention it. No, but in countries, usually Islamic countries, I'm going to be careful because that's kind of the sticking widget of the whole story, where there's a tradition called honor culture, where it's very common for, well, gosh, I feel like I'm terrified by this story. I don't know what could possibly happen to me by talking about it, but it scares
They will come
me.
and find you. They will get you.
So the film is about women who have been abused or killed by their families, parents, brothers, for things that are perceived to bring dishonor on themselves or the family.
Right.
Such as refusing an arranged marriage.
Oh, yeah.
Becoming a victim of rape.
Well, obviously.
Adultery, things like this.
Right.
And some of the stories in the film, and I have not seen the whole film. I've seen a couple of clips on YouTube. It hasn't come to Salt Lake yet. But it's 9 women talking about their experiences, and one woman in the clip that I saw was talking about her sister who wanted to get out of this marriage, but she couldn't leave.
Oh no, you can't get out of the marriage.
No. It would dishonor the family. So what she did to get out of the situation was she set herself on fire, and she died.
What a great solution to her problem.
Yeah.
And or wow, they live in a shitty place.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is what the film is about. And
Right.
and also from the clips that I saw, they're very careful to say this is culture versus religion.
Oh,
where they also talk a lot about female genitalia mutilation.
Right.
Which Ayaan Hirsi Ali had a what would you even call it? Procedure, I guess.
She had it done to her.
She had it done to her when she was 5. And so that's
She was
something,
5.
yeah, something that she speaks out very openly about.
Right.
So that's another part of the film.
That's interesting. I don't know where she's from, but I was under the impression it happened later for most girls.
She's from Somalia.
Okay. Well, there you go. Watch out, 5-year-olds.
Well, and it's another thing that they talk about is in some of these countries, the legal age for marriage is 9.
Right. Right.
Something
Yeah,
like
well.
that. So it does happen very young. Anyway, there's a film. It came out for International Women's Day. It's making its way across the country now. But CARE, this organization that is very vigilant against protecting against Islamophobia, has been petitioning organizations and universities that are showing the film. And
Saying not to show the film.
Right. And last month, they were able to get 2 state universities to cancel screenings of the film.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is, see, now to me, this is so, okay. I get that I mean, I'm sympathetic to the fact that Islamic peoples of America have to be pretty careful about how they're viewed, because it's pretty easy for people to just fly off the handle just because you're Islamic and, like, burn down your business or, do something, you treat you horribly or whatever. So I get that. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Islamophobia is a real thing.
Right. But if Islamophobia, I mean, it's the same thing as, like, Jews, like, being outraged if anyone dares to criticize Israel, right? It's this whole thing of, like, baby/bathwater issue.
Right.
Where if everything's all thrown together, then we've got a real problem because, yeah, you got women, burning themselves or, men throwing acid on the faces of their women. And
right.
That's an issue. Needs to be dealt with.
And I think, to your point, it's something that I've kind of tiptoed around in a very minuscule little degree with my own experience as being ex-Mormon, where when I say something that's critical of Mormons, I often get the response like, "Oh, well, you're just anti-Mormon." And
that is a great thing that Mormons have that one down.
Right. Well, and it's not like, I mean, it's not the same thing at all in that I'm not getting death threats or anything like this.
Right.
But there is this point where you need to be able to criticize.
Yeah.
And especially if it's something that you do know, like these women are talking about their own experiences and their own lives.
Right.
You get to judge a book on its contents.
Yeah, exactly.
That is allowed.
Maybe not cover.
No.
But if you read the thing,
If you read it,
you're pretty okay to actually judge
yeah.
that.
You just have to kind of say, no, I'm not talking about the dust jacket.
Right. Yeah. That's a tricky one. But
Right. Well, and especially because, it's not these practices. Genital mutilation is not in the Quran. These are not condoned practices by Islam, and yet,
well, I mean, I think
it's about the culture,
right? But I haven't read the Quran at all.
Mm-hmm. Are you correcting my pronunciation?
No, what did you say?
I think I said Quran. I'll say it your way.
I don't think that there's an official TGIA pronunciation of that particular word. Okay. Anyway, I haven't read the Holy Book of Islam, but but what I have done is I swear I've seen verses from it that talk about, like, women have to subject themselves to the men, and the men have, like, violent recourses to them.
Right.
So I don't think we can divorce it entirely from. I mean, if the Christian Bible says it, surely the Quran says it.
Right.
And the Christian Bible definitely says it. Mm-hmm. So I think, it is a cultural thing. But to say it's not a religious thing is a little disingenuous, I think.
Right. Right.
That's just my little bit there.
I agree.
Anyway.
Really quickly, though.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I'm new to this. I just wanted to bring it back to why I brought it up, which is that. So Brandeis last month rescinded this invitation to give this honorary degree to Ayan.
Right.
But they did show the film.
Oh.
They showed the film last Wednesday, despite...
How very conciliatory of them. They're like, I'll bet, like, they couldn't say no to that. She could have come to them and just said, you have to show any film.
Oh, right.
You have to show Goonies 2 or whatever.
Electric Boogaloo.
That one. And they would have been like, really? We have to show? Yeah, you have to show Troll. That's the movie you have to show. And then they would have been like, oh, okay. Anyway, since you mentioned how you're ex-Mormon, which is a common thing on this show, Frank and I both being ex-Mormons as well.
Yes, but I'm a ex-Utah County Mormon.
Yeah, which to me or anyone that lives in Utah means something. Anyone outside of Utah doesn't. Just know that they're the intense ones. And I'm actually going to talk about Utah County because that's the home of the BYU.
Yes, it is.
Which is the Brigham Young University, to which we have referred numerous times on this show, because they just did a cute little thing. Frank's going to be a little mad that he wasn't here for this story, frankly.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, because he's the alum.
He went to school there, and it's about gay people, so he's just missing a double whammy here.
Frank.
Nope, this one's all you. I did it just to gouge him. Take that, Franklin. Anyway, so BYU wanted to poll their students a little bit and just sort of understand their student body a little bit better. So they did a confidential survey that they distributed to some, but not all of Brigham Young University students. I guess the idea is just a representative sample of students there. To reveal the depths, just to get a sense of like where they all were on issues such as sexuality. So one of the questions, question 3 is like, what is your gender? And question 4 is, how old are you? They get all this demographic stuff, and then they get real cute.
Okay.
In question 8, what is your sexual orientation? Doesn't sound that cute, right? Here are your options. Number 1, I am heterosexual, but I struggle with same-sex attraction. Number 2, I am heterosexual and do not struggle with same-sex attraction. Or other, please specify.
That is so Mormon.
Isn't that just amazing?
I don't know anybody else that approaches it that way, but I had this conversation with my mother recently.
Oh, yeah?
Where we were talking about one of my cousins who I have thought is gay, but he's not out, so, I don't mention it.
Right.
But he had a friend at this last family reunion we went to, and I was really hoping. I was like, oh, yes. He's
time.
out. We can talk about this. So great. But it just, didn't come up, and we were leaving, and I said, okay, so what is going on there? Do you know? And
you said this to your mom. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I think I even kind of edged in with, I don't know if I can ask this, but... And then her response was, well, I don't know if he has that tendency, but I don't think he's ever acted on it. Which to a Mormon is like, okay, actually, that's kind of progressive in a way, because it actually recognizes the idea that, okay, this is a natural state. This is not a choice.
Right.
But you can choose what you do with it.
Yeah. What's amazing is that Mormonism is like that. Mormonism officially believes that there are people who don't choose to be gay, who suffer from same-sex attraction.
Right.
And they acknowledge that. They just think, buck up and get over it, kiddo. Yeah. Sorry about that. We can help you, though. We'll find you a good wife.
Right.
We'll find you somebody that'll...
We'll give you a blessing, and we'll pray real hard.
And I swear, eventually, those boobs are going to give you an erection. I swear to God,
if
that'll happen.
Believe, clap your hands.
That's right. I do believe in fairies. I do. No, wait, no fairies. I believe in good, clean girls and vaginas and you.
I love vaginas.
Tell yourself that 3 times before you go to bed every night. I love vaginas. Yeah, so, I mean, it's just fascinating that, like, gay was not an option, but there are two heterosexual options with a caveat on one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It does seem a little disingenuous.
Yeah.
They're not really trying to learn anything from that.
Yeah, that's like an attempt at, could you reaffirm this thing I already believe?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I like that they put an other and then you can specify the other, because I like to believe that there were one or two brave souls down in Provo who were like, oh yeah, other, gay.
Oh, if you mark other, you have to enter in.
Yeah, you have to enter something in. You have to
Okay.
specify something.
Okay.
It'd just be great if like one or two of them was like just flaming homosexual. Oh yeah, I'm other. For sure. Oh my God, everyone knows that. The Paul Lind of BYU.
Yes.
That wasn't a Paul Lind impression.
No, I'm waiting for the Paul Lind impression.
I don't even know if I could do it.
Oh,
Yeah.
so disappointing.
I'll work on it.
All right.
I go to BYU. That's as close as I can come. That's as close. I feel like that was near.
I
feel like I grazed
I am not
past
disappointed. I
the
like
Paul Lind there. They got the best cookies. Anyway,
nice.
we better move on before.
I know. I put you on the spot. I'm really impressed.
There you go. Thank you.
Okay, I have a little story about the FFRF.
Oh, the FFRF, the Freedom from Religion Foundation.
And now, do you say FFRF or FFRF?
Again, I don't think we're going to get
You don't have a
too
specific
locked into pronunciations here,
Okay.
especially when it's just a made-up thing that we just like to say because it's funny.
Well, the FFRF has
Okay.
been offending some people in West Virginia.
What? They never offend anyone.
No.
They're so careful.
Well, they wrote a letter to a high school asking them to paint over a Bible verse that was in their gymnasium.
Oh, well, yeah, that seems like it might be a problem.
Right.
Something that the FFRF might be interested in.
Here's the thing that bothers me about it. First, I
Okay.
have to read the scripture. Philippians 4:13.
Oh, yeah.
I can do excuse me. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. So, okay, actually 3 things. Christ who strengthens me, right?
Well, maybe.
Second, Philip. There's a Philip in the Bible. How did I not ever know that?
I think there is a Philip, but Philippians is like a group of people, isn't it? It's like a whole.
They're Filipino?
Yes. It's St. Paul's epistle to the Filipinos.
Okay, well, that doesn't bother me then.
Okay.
I'm just like picturing
A
Philip.
guy named Philip.
Yeah, I mean, is there a book of Brandon?
There is that. Oh, there's a book of Daniel. I've got my own book.
Yeah,
You've got a biblical name.
I do.
There are lots of names. There might be a Philip. I don't know. But Philippians, I don't think is.
Philippians. It's
anyway.
not. It's not Book of Philip. Okay. Well, so the thing that really bothers me about it is that it's just so obvious to have. So it's a wrestling gymnasium,
Oh,
and the quote is all about. I mean, could you be more literal if you had a Bible verse that said, "My love of Jesus will help me tap this guy out"? Or
right? Yeah.
I don't know.
I prefer, by the way, if you'd leave the out off of that, and it's just will help me tap this guy.
I don't. Maybe that's not winning. Maybe that's losing when you tap out.
When you tap out, then yeah, if the guy that you're wrestling taps out. But I don't even know that you tap out in real wrestling. That's more like pro wrestling.
I should not be using sports metaphors because that is not my wheelhouse.
No, but you're good. But so this was it was like painted on the
It
wall.
was painted on the wall. They also had some verses on their website, which they took down.
So they complied.
They complied.
Well, that's
They
good.
did. Yeah.
So everyone should be happy, right?
Right. Well, the parents aren't particularly happy, and they're
What?
and they're
What? I'm shocked.
yeah. But the thing that they're really concerned about is what's next.
Oh.
And specifically said that you can have the gym wall, but you can't have our T-shirts.
When you pry them from our cold, dead chests, you can have our
Right.
T-shirts
From our clammy backs.
and pits.
But yeah.
So
that's that story.
so the kids already had T-shirts
Yeah.
that they were wearing to school,
Right.
and now they're not allowed to.
No, but that's what the parents are worried about.
Oh, okay. This is the compromise.
So this is
then.
their compromise. You can have the wall. We get to keep our biblical T-shirts.
Okay. I mean, the trick about that is that they don't know what they're opening themselves up to, because there's a lot of rebellious kids out there, and they're going to be coming in their 666 shirts and their whatever.
Maybe.
Coming in. If he gets to wear his Jesus shirt, I'd like a shirt that said I can do all things through Satan.
Yeah. Satan is my co-pilot.
That's right. That's right.
No.
Little footprints in the sand.
With a tail dragging behind them.
Yeah, exactly. The line sort of swishing about. Yeah, there you go. I mean, I still count it as a win. I think that's awesome. Like every little thing that we can get out of the schools or get off of the lawns of the courthouses or whatever.
I agree. I think it is a win, especially because, there wasn't a big fight and tears. The school was like, okay, you're right. We got to comply with the law. And they painted over it.
Which is amazing considering where it is, too.
Yeah.
Like, that's impressive. I think it's shocking to me. It's sad to me that the FFRF has to go school by school. Mm-hmm. This is the problem. Like, the FFRF has to go building by building through America going, remember the law?
Yeah.
Does anybody here remember... There's this whole thing we've got called a Constitution, and it's got a whole bunch of laws attached to it. Anybody? No? Okay, well, whatever. Anyway.
We should just, after the census is done, just like take all those clipboards and just hand them over to FFRF and have them go door to door. And like,
okay, so just so you guys know, here's the law.
Right.
Well, there you go. I'm just going to talk briefly about some new laws, speaking of laws, but they're not laws here in the United States of America. They are laws in the little country of Brunei.
Oh.
Have you ever heard of Brunei?
I have heard of Brunei.
I was completely wrong as to where it was geographically.
Well, I was just going to say, don't ask me because I went to public school.
Well, yes. Although you're a smarty pants and you know it, so you don't have excuses like that.
Not about geography.
Yeah, me neither. So I had it placed very wrong, but it turns out that it's in the sort of Malaysia area. It's actually, I think it's surrounded by Malaysia.
Oh.
Except the part that's on the China Sea.
Okay.
So anyway, and it's a small little country. It's geographically, I did look this up just because I was sort of trying to get a sense of this thing. It is smaller. It's between in size our smallest state, which I believe is Rhode Island, and our second smallest state, which is Delaware. So it's midway between Rhode Island and Delaware in its size. This thing's tiny. But it has all. They got all.
So you can walk across it, but at some point you're probably going to have to pee.
Yeah. Yes.
That's
exactly.
how big it is.
But they're wealthy, or at least the Sultan is wealthy. The Sultan of Brunei. I don't know why. In my mind, like everyone just equates the Sultan of Brunei with like wealth.
Yeah.
Because he's
well,
really...
just the whole Sultan part sounds.
It does sound pretty good.
Pretty posh.
It does sound pretty good. But when you're the Sultan of like 400,000 people. That's not as impressive.
That's more people than I'm the Sultan of.
Are you sure? I mean, you're probably right. Anyway, so this is an Islamic country, largely. So they are now, they've now decided that they are going to like freak out a whole bunch of Texans because they have instituted Sharia law, but they've gone super hardcore Sharia law. So they
Sharia law extreme.
Yeah, exactly. Sharia law. So so like death by stoning is coming back with a vengeance. Lots of cool torture. Phase 1 has been things like punishments for skipping prayer, getting pregnant out of wedlock, or behaving indecently, which seems nebulous enough that I don't think I ever want to go to this country ever. because I'm pretty sure they could just get me if they want
that's
to.
an umbrella term.
Yeah, that's one of those ones where it's just like, I don't like the look of you.
Yeah, you with the shifty eyes.
You're going away for a while.
Yeah.
And then, but there's phase 2 that's coming in the next year or so. So they say, that's going to be like all about punishing sodomy and adultery, and literally those are like the death by stoning punishments.
Wow.
Yeah, they are gonna fuck some people up.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's probably bad.
What's the next phase?
The phase after that is that they just kill everybody.
Wow.
I don't know I don't know if there's a next phase. I think the next phase is like everybody has to pretend like they live in, the 6th century
Oh, okay.
or something.
Yeah.
There you go, though. There are places in the world. I mean, there are other places in the world that have laws like this in place. Saudi Arabia is not doing so hot with this stuff. Pakistan's kind of sketchy with laws like this. So it's not unheard of.
Is anyone opposing it, or this is the way it's going?
Pretty sure that one of the laws is that you can't oppose the laws.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to do that.
I was thinking, like, what does the Secretary of State have to say about it? But
I think
busy.
everybody has to say whatever the Sultan tells them they have to say about it. I could be wrong on that.
John Kerry. Like,
our secretary
doing
our
anything?
no. Come on. We only meddle when
I know.
well, I mean, there is
That was
oil.
naive.
There is oil, but this doesn't seem to threaten the oil at all.
Oh, okay.
The second there's a law about like restrictions as to where their oil can go or something,
Right.
then
Do not
John Kerry will be
stone the oil.
right. Exactly. You're not allowed to stone the oil for adultery.
Right.
Although I think oil's more into sodomy.
Oh, totally.
Anyway, well, if you guys have anything that you want to say about anything that you've heard today, you can write to us, or if you want to congratulate Rachel on how great a job she's doing, you can write to us at podcast@thankgodimatheist, or do you want to give them our phone number?
1-800-666.
No, you're just wrong. That was totally unfair of me. I did not give her the phone number to tell you people. I just thought that would be funny to do. No, it's 424-666-8442, which is TGIA if you have a phone from the 90s that actually has those little letters next to the numbers. Or you can go on the Facebook page. That's facebook.com/TGIatheist. So we're going to take a little break. We're going to listen to some audio here. What are we listening to?
I believe it was the Glenn Beck at Liberty U.
That's right. Glenn, a Mormon talking at Liberty University. Yeah. And wildly talking too. You guys should look up the rest of this, but we're just going to play a little clip of it. Here we go.
And miracle after miracle after miracle, I find myself standing where Jesus turned the temples over. The first Christian to be allowed to speak there. What do you say? I'm walking down the streets of Jerusalem praying, Lord, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? And unlike anything I have ever felt before, I know the love, I know the gentleness of Christ. I've never felt the wrath. Lord, what do you want me to say? You tell them I am coming, and I will settle scores.
Ooh.
God sounds mad.
Well, Beck sounds crazy.
Yeah, he does sound crazy.
Oh my God, God's coming.
He is.
And he will settle scores.
It's a very, I don't know, that I don't like it when God uses those kinds of quotes that sound so Scorsese.
It does sound a little Scorsese, doesn't it?
Yeah, I like an Old Testament God.
I'm coming. I'm going to come. I'm going to settle some scores. You probably shouldn't have done what you did, but you did it, so now I'm coming. You better watch out.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. The fact that anyone, whether they're Mormon the way Glenn Beck is, or they're evangelical the way all these kids at Liberty University are, like, anyone listens to this guy and is okay with him saying, I had this I had a little chit chat with our Lord, and let me tell you what he told me. That's bold. Dude is bold. At least I'll give him that much.
Yeah, scary.
Scary, sure.
But bold.
Well, okay, so we got a few emails that I want to go into, if you're down for that.
Yeah, of course.
Because it is your job as Fake Frank to do it.
Well, as Fake Frank, I'm excited about this.
Okay. First one's from Michael. Hello, Frank and Dan. I just started listening to the podcast and am all caught up on 2014. Good. Well done. He says he was a fundamentalist Christian. Now he says over the last 2 to 3 years, I've studied myself into atheism. So congratulations on that, Michael.
That can happen.
Oh, you read some stuff. That's the worst thing you can do and stay Christian. It's harder. It makes it harder. Anyway, he says, I worked with a small company who employed about 40 people from all over the country. 2 of them were genuine Salt Lake City Mormons. What I found most interesting, or should I say weird, about them is that they wouldn't drink alcohol, coffee, or caffeinated sodas, and they were diehard conservative Republican types, loving them some family values. In other words, just say no to abortions and gays. But were always the quickest guy in the room to jump on a sexual innuendo opportunity. You know, the whole that's what she said thing. At times, their innuendos were even more risque, and sometimes they'd just flat out tell some dirty jokes. It didn't bother me, but being of a similar ilk once myself, it seemed like an odd juxtaposition for someone who couldn't even enjoy a damn Starbucks latte. So realizing that knowing 2 Mormons isn't exactly a scientific study, he says, I was curious if this was very common, or was I the lucky one who got to hang out with the 2 LDS pervs? And he points out, he says, Darrell Ray found that among American religions, Mormons were the most sexually guilt-ridden, even 37% more than Catholics. I have to wonder if there's a connection. Anyway, and then he says, thanks for reading it, and hope to grab a pint with us sometime. Well, I hope so too, Michael. Well, you've had a lot of experience with Mormons, Rachel. What do you think? Is that normal?
Yeah, I was gonna joke. No, where's the weird part? I don't see the weird part.
Exactly.
I was gonna actually ask you if that was like a man thing, because I don't know if I've really seen that side of.
So here's the deal. I think I've seen plenty of that.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of Mormons who still follow like all of those strictures about not drinking alcohol and not drinking coffee or whatever, but they can get pretty risque.
Right.
And I don't know what to chalk it up to. Like maybe there is that whole like finally expressing the sexuality that was repressed for all those years or whatever. I mean,
that tension's got to go somewhere.
Right. Something like that. I mean, they're not supposed to. Mind you, Mormons are supposed to be nice and pure and holy and gentle and all of those things. So I don't think they're not supposed to make dirty jokes. But I know a lot of guys that do.
See, I feel like I've kind of been sheltered from that. And the female experience, I had a really good friend who LDS, married later in life, and the first time she saw a penis was when she was in med school.
Oh, wow.
And they were removing them and putting them in a bucket. So she saw a bucket full of dismembered members.
What?
And we were at lunch.
Did you have to hold them?
I just got the visual from what she was saying. And we were at lunch and she was kind of talking about it and and just like having a hard time talking about it. Like trying to explain what this traumatizing event was like for her. And then finally somebody else that was there with us picked up on the brainwave and said, "Oh, honey, none of us like looking at them." And then she just like sighed. She's like, "Oh, thank God." And then I was like, well, and you did see kind of a worst case scenario.
Yeah, like that. Like if you're going to be exposed to penises and like like, if you get to choose how you're going to be exposed to penises, that's the worst possible way.
Right. So my point was, I mean, that was kind of off topic, but my experience talking with Mormon women is typically not quite as body, unless there's like, you've got to pull something traumatic out of somebody.
There is like special extra pressure on women to be perfect. Like really, really, really powerful pressure to always be perfect, and you can't make any mistakes, and you can't say anything that could be perceived as being hurtful or offensive to anybody ever in the whole world.
Right.
So,
and if you do kind of wander down that whole body path of saying something, I'm saying body with a W. My body. Yes, exactly. You're pretty quick to get your hand slapped in my experience. Like now.
We don't do that. Now, Rachel.
Behave yourself.
Now, Rachel.
Which is probably why I'm so out of, anything that comes to my head these days, I'll just say it. I've got to make up for lost time.
Which is good, yes. That's exactly what you need to be doing. Offend everybody. Offend all of the people. But yeah, I think with guys that does happen. It's the weirdest thing. There's a Mormon guy in the cast of the show that I'm in right now who prides himself on being the dirtiest guy in the room.
Wow.
I think there's this sort of thing about like certain guys. It's like this, like, I'm the Mormon who says awful things. Ha ha ha! Check that out. Fuck! I said the F word. Ha ha!
That doesn't seem like a typical experience either.
No,
like that seems like someone who's kind of desperate to rebel a little bit.
Right. Well, and especially if you're among theater people.
Oh yeah.
Theater people are pretty dirty as it is. Yeah. So like I think he's just trying to fit in extra special good or something. I don't know. He's a sweet guy, but it is kind of funny. It's just like, come on, you got to pick a side here.
Right.
You're cheating. But they get off on that. Anyway, Cindy also wrote in. She was raised Jehovah's Witness, but left 5 years ago. Congratulations on that, when she moved out of her mother's house. However, you think Mormonism is rough on you when you leave. Mm-hmm. The J-dubs can be pretty damned harsh. So she says that, so the Jehovah's Witnesses don't celebrate birthdays or Christmas or anything like that. So she says she works in the same office as her sister. She says, my birthday just passed a few days ago, and the girls in the office decorated my cube. That apparently made my sister very upset, and she went and told my mom all about it. My mother then confronted me with it and said that I shouldn't be shoving my paganism in my sister's face at work.
What?
In that conversation I had with my mom about my birthday, I came out and told her I'm an atheist. She seemed very shocked and asked me a bunch of questions. I asked her if she wanted me to send in my letter to the Jehovah's Witness Society to let them know that I was no longer a member. I had never even thought about sending it in because I know I'm done with it, and that I won't be going back. It didn't feel like something I needed to do. I know Mormons have have something similar for exiting the organization. My mother said she would not shun me if I chose to write the letter. But if she felt I was being a bad influence on my 21-year-old brother, she would no longer be able to have a relationship with me.
Wow.
I had conversations with my siblings, and they said that they would have to obey the rules and shun me. I would not be changing my lifestyle at all. Only the only difference would be a piece of paper stating that I'm no longer a member. They also make an announcement at the last Kingdom Hall you attended. It's a very public thing, and the rules say that you can't associate with anyone that has been baptized and chooses to leave and lead a life of, quote, sin. So she says, I would like some advice. Should I act like everything is okay and just move on, or should I write my letter and have them shun me? I don't really care about the letter, but the fact that they could actually go through with shunning me hurts so much. I really just wanted to cut them out of my life before they have a chance to do it first, but that feels a little childish. I would like some advice on how to handle this in a mature adult way. Obviously you guys can't figure it out for me, but if you could think about how you would deal with it in the situation and give me some advice, I'd really appreciate it.
Oh.
So an easy one for you there, Rach, on your first time into the show.
Cindy, you said her name was?
Cindy.
Cindy?
She's 25.
I'm sorry, honey.
I know.
Sounds rough.
You are in what is, I believe, technically known as a shitty situation.
Yeah.
So, our sympathies on that. In terms of advice, it's tricky because we don't know the culture the way you do. But it's clear that like, it's an eggshells type situation. I get the hurt that you're feeling. And here's the deal. Families take a lot of time to process stuff like this.
Right.
It does take time. So it might not be a bad idea. I'm just spitballing here. But it might not be a bad idea to not send in the letter and let your family sort of become familiar with you in this new context.
Right.
Chill with them for a while. Let them realize you're the same good person that you were. I can't guarantee that this will actually help anything in terms of, like, if you do send in a letter, will they continue? Will they still shun you? But what I have found with Mormonism is that if you're gentle and you give people time to realize, like, after you've made your announcement, to realize that you're still good, that you're still the same you that you always were, that you're not, like, that you don't hate them for their beliefs, and that you don't hate God, whom you don't believe in, so that doesn't make any sense, but that's what everybody assumes anyway. If you can just give them time, and I know it feels bass backwards because they're the ones that are mistreating you, so it feels like they should have to do something. But if you can give them the time, it might help. If you can't, that's your business. You don't have to live your life for other people. It's your damn life.
Well, and it sounds like they're asking a lot of you. It sounds like your mother is the one that's asking you to send in this letter and asking you to behave in a way that she would define as being a good influence on your siblings. And I would just, you said that you don't want to cut them off because it feels childish, but I would encourage you to create some space for yourself and figure out what your truth is, because you've just got to live your truth. And like Dan said, give your family the time to build that relationship back around you.
Right. But you can also give you time.
Right.
It's not just about them. Obviously, if you're giving them time, that's time that you can take for you too. And if you need to, you're looking at years here. Yeah. This is a many years process of, if you want to reconcile with your family, and if you want to eventually be able to talk about the feelings that have come up and talk about how their actions have made you feel, you can start that conversation now, or you can wait. That's up to you. But, like, finding common ground is a very long process. And if you want this to work, you're probably going to have to take that long view.
Right. Especially in those heated moments. Because I know when I was 25, I would have maybe gotten really dramatic in this moment and said some very unproductive things.
Right.
Which is just making it all about me, which is what I do. But
that's a valid thing. And if you do that, you're not gonna.
Well, I'm just saying, when you're in those moments, and it's because it is going to be hurtful, and you've said that the idea of having a rift with your family just hurts you so much. Like you'll have those moments where it's consuming you, and it's hard to think about the long-term relationship that you're going to have with your family.
It is.
So that would be just something to remind yourself.
Take a lot of deep breaths.
Yeah.
It's a bumpy road.
They know we're totally unqualified to respond to these.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure.
I think I've been perfectly clear that I'm an idiot. I hope that our listeners have known that. But you and I have both been through similar things. It's not the same thing, but you've got a very religious family, and
Yeah, I have to keep coming out to my mother because she doesn't like it, so she just kind of forgets and pretends I didn't say that.
Oh, that's cute. Do you get invited to like participate in church things, or what? Like, how does that? What form does that take?
That doesn't happen anymore. But I think it's the thing of it's that old thing of it's one thing to say you don't believe in God. It's another thing entirely to say that you're atheist.
Really? Okay.
Where that's just a tough
it's
pill
just
to swallow.
the language that she has trouble with.
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, Cindy, I just want to say, hang in there.
You'll be okay.
Yeah.
You will be okay. It is, by the way, you're allowed to cut them out if you want to, but
it's not childish if it's what you need.
Yeah, but I recommend give yourself and them as much of a shot as you can.
Right.
Family's family. You grew up with these people. Anyway, thanks for writing in. We do have some donors that I wanted to thank. If I can, oh man, see, this is what happens when Frank goes away. Suddenly, everything's just gone all to hell.
You hear that, Frank?
Yeah.
Come back soon.
Anyway, so Michelle, I want to thank Michelle, who's a new subscriber.
Thanks, Michelle.
And Michael has given us a one-time donation, and yes, you get a shout out on the show. So he said if you give me a shout out on the show, I might donate more. We're not asking for more. If you want to give us more, that's fine, but you get the shout out one way or the other. That's just how we roll. Anyway, we also got a very nice donation from Amy. Thank you, Amy. And we have an automatic subscriber in Steve. So thanks to all of you for your generosity.
Thank you.
It's very nice. I love that you're thanking them. You're also a donor to the podcast. You're like one of them.
Well, I'm trying to do what would Frank do? That's what I'm asking
WWFD. That's a terrible thing. No one should ever do what Frank would do. Anyway, thank you guys so much for your support. If you want to, if you're not one of the names that I listed and you want to be, you can join them in their support of our podcast by going to thankgodimatheist.com and clicking on the support tab. How did you find it? Was it an easy and simple process for you?
Yes, it was.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
We try to make
straightforward.
Yeah, that's what we're going for. Really, It's a nice, straightforward process. Okay, so we've got a couple of interviews that Frank and I did while we were at the American Atheist Convention, because it was just a cornucopia of interviewable people.
Good word.
Thank you. Well, cornucopia is a good word. Interviewable, maybe a little sketchier.
Well, it has such a visual. It's just like atheists coming out of a pointy basket.
That's what it was. Yeah. I don't know where they came up with that giant basket, but there they all came. Anyway, so you'll be hearing two interviews. One with Amanda Metskas, who is in charge of a very great program. And I'll let her explain that. And Jaclyn Glenn. So I now turn the time over. That's such a Mormon phrase. I just really could not come up with a phrase that wasn't the Mormon phrase of "we now turn the time over" to Brother Frank Feldman and Brother Dan Beecher sometime in the past. Well, we're here with Amanda Metskas from Camp Quest. And this is something that you and I, Frank, have never actually talked about on our show.
No, this has never come up. So
but I've been aware of Camp Quest. So hi, Amanda. How are you?
I'm very good. Good. It's good to be here with you guys.
Excellent. Yeah. And you're the executive director of this camp.
Yes, I am.
Talk to me about Camp Quest.
Well, so we have a network of summer camps around the United States, and they focus on fun, friends, and free thought. So all the things you think of when you think of typical summer camp: canoeing, hiking, arts and crafts, plus building a community with other kids from free-thinking families, and then critical thinking, science, philosophy, but in a hands-on summer camp way, not a boring being lectured to way.
Yeah.
Okay, but how do they learn about Jesus?
Oh, well, they might have to go to Vacation Bible School for that. Although, we do world religions at camp. Yeah, we do a little 5-minute intros to different world religions because we think it's important that kids are religiously literate and are exposed to the different worldviews that are out there.
Nice.
That's really smart.
I like that.
So, I guess before I heard of your program, I guess I hadn't really thought of it as a problem, right? But I guess it must be a problem with most camps that are out there that they're religious?
A lot of camps in a lot of parts of the country are.
Okay.
Even if it's just, there's chapel on Sunday morning and you're praying before meals, it still can feel kind of off-putting or ostracizing if that's not what your family is about.
Right.
And then, for a lot of kids, even in parts of the country where there is like a sort of a generic secular traditional kind of summer camp, you're still surrounded by a pervasively religious group of campers. So you don't have that opportunity to learn, oh, hey, there's a lot of kids out there from families like mine, from families that are skeptics or humanists or atheists or agnostics. This is a place where kids don't have to feel afraid to ask questions about religion, questions that maybe at school with their friends they feel a little hesitant to talk about.
Right. I can actually, in a really weird way, really identify with this because I grew up Mormon in a very non-Mormon area.
Oh, wow.
And I would come to Utah for like summer stuff. So to be surrounded by my people.
There you go.
While it was a religious thing, I toally get what those kids, what their experience is like being the only one of their kind. And so that's really cool. That's really, wow.
There you go.
Huh.
It doesn't, it's so funny because on the one hand, you think this doesn't have to be a secular, like this could just be camp.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when I went to Boy Scout camp, they prayed at every meal, and at that time I was religious, so it seemed perfect. It didn't seem totally natural, but it seemed fine.
Right.
But now that I think about it, I'm like, no, I don't want my kid going to something where everybody's praying all the time. So yeah, it was an interesting. It's a fascinating idea.
Yeah. And the Boy Scouts actually was kind of part of the inspiration for Camp Quest because they exclude atheists. They exclude kids who don't affirm a belief in God from membership.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
And so, unlike the Girl Scouts, I always try to clarify, the Girl Scouts are welcoming and awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
But it just kind of brought home for us that we need a place for our kids to feel like they belong.
Yeah.
And then, in addition, at a traditional summer camp, you're probably not going to do some of the kinds of activities we do at camp. We do, evolution activities.
Right.
We do other kinds of science activities. And then my favorite thing, one of the things I lead at camp every year is Socrates Cafe, which is philosophy discussion.
Oh, cool.
And it's amazing because, so many kids, when adults ask them questions, the adults want them to tell them the answer that's in the adult's head.
Right.
And Socrates Cafe isn't like that at all. It's, hey, we're going to come together, become better questioners. So I'll throw out a question like, what is knowledge? And I'll just keep a list of who wants to talk and kind of set some ground rules. And the kids come up with just amazing, amazing insights. And you see kids who you think, maybe in school these kids don't talk very much. And then, 45 minutes into the discussion, they get on the speakers list and they say something that just blows your mind.
I love it.
Wow, that's great.
That's great. Where are their camps?
Yeah, I was about to ask that.
Oh my gosh, I need to look at the list. We've gotten so many of them now that I have to look.
All right, open your own brochure.
There we go. So Arizona, Virginia, Colorado, Kansas City, Michigan, Minnesota. The Montana one, unfortunately, is taking a year off this summer. We've got a new one in New England. Camp Quest Northwest is in Washington State. Ohio, which is the original camp all the way back to 1996.
Really? Wow.
Oklahoma. Tennessee in the Smoky Mountains. They meet in Smoky Mountains National Park.
Oh,
it's
cool.
amazing.
That's great.
South Carolina, Texas, and California. And Camp Quest West in California has 2 different camp locations. They have a Northern California and a Southern California.
Wow.
Cool.
Okay.
I assume you have a website
Yes.
that I can send people to.
Campquest.org.
Okay.
Very easy.
Awesome. Well, everybody, if you have children's, which Frank and I don't have those things, but if you have those little things that run around your house and break your stuff, send them to camp.
Yeah, get them out of the house.
Yeah.
And if you don't have children, or if you do, either way, our counselors are all volunteers, and they come for a week of camp, and our volunteers range in age from 18 to 80.
Right.
So, you can, and I think the adult volunteers have almost as much fun as the kids do. So, you can apply on our website, campquest.org/volunteer, pick a camp location you're interested in. a lot of our camps are on waiting lists for campers right now. So if you want to register a camper, get that in fast. One of the things that is holding us back from expanding to be able to offer more spots to campers is having enough volunteers. So if you like kids, if you like the outdoors, if you like free thought, you like teaching science,
what a great
you will
suggestion.
have a heck of a good time.
What a great way to spend a summer. So, yeah, go ahead and get out there and volunteer for these guys.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
All right.
Cool.
Amanda, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. It was really fun.
It was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys, too.
All right. Well, I'm sure we'll see each other around.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Go have fun at camp.
All right. Thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
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 So, we're here with Jaclyn Glenn.
Hey,
Hey, Jaclyn, how are you?
I'm doing really well. How are you guys?
We're
Can
doing
I call
good.
you? Can I call you JG?
Sure. Sounds good.
That's just a really stupid thing to call you.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Well, ouch. Now you're making fun of me, and it makes me feel bad.
I'm so sorry.
So you are a vlogger.
I do. Yeah, I do vlogs on YouTube about
You're a
religion.
YouTube sensation, is what you
Oh,
are.
I don't know if I would go that far, but I am on the YouTubes.
Wait, so what got you started doing that?
I started YouTube about 3 years ago, and mostly it was because I was getting into animal rights activism, and I wanted to make videos about vegetarian recipes and different things. And once I got interested in religion, I just kind of started doing that, and that kind of took off. So
Interesting.
yeah, it was a random thing that kind of got me started doing YouTube, but I'm happy I started.
Yeah, that's cool. And what an interesting change of pace.
A little bit different, yeah.
What got you? I mean, did you have a change of religious heart?
Oh, yeah. I was a Bible thumper.
Yeah.
Born and raised Catholic, and then I didn't like the Catholic Church, and I still wanted to find Jesus, so I switched to being a Protestant for a little while, and that didn't really work out either. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So at that point, you
it
just
was-
gave up entirely.
I mean, I wouldn't say gave up. I worked harder. It wasn't like easy. Atheism isn't like an easy way out. It's actually a lot more difficult.
Yeah, really good point.
So, yeah, but I'm happy I got here.
Nice. Well, what has been the reaction to your to your videos?
Good and bad from people that I know. Personally, probably bad, mostly because I grew up very Christian conservative.
Right.
So friends and family are disapproving. I'm kind of the black sheep when it comes to that. But as far as my audience and stuff, I mean, people are very nice to me online. They're very receptive. Of course, I have trolls here and there, but most of it is very positive.
It is the internet.
Yeah.
The internet.
But the internet is a very, atheistic environment, to be honest. Like, at least YouTube comments and stuff, there are way more people who are atheists or, free thinking that go on the internet to comment on things. So there are lots of religious and Christian trolls and Muslim. Oh my gosh, I did a video against Islam, and I got so many haters on that. But,
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes.
That's gonna happen.
That and Justin
when you-
Bieber. If you criticize Justin Bieber, the believers will come after you.
You can't. You need to know better than that.
I know.
That's
I messed
that.
up.
I mean, yeah, Jesus is sacred and all, but Bieber.
That's a whole nother level. of
That's a
sacred.
whole nother level. You got to be careful.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. And now you're here at the Atheist Convention. You're here in sort of an official capacity, are you not?
Yeah, I'm doing behind the scenes reporting, I guess, for the American Atheist. I'm interviewing speakers and people who are attending and putting together a
Cool.
bunch of different videos for them. So yeah, it's pretty fun.
How's that been going?
So far, so good. I've interviewed at least 4 of the speakers, and I've interviewed a lot of people who are here, just asking them random questions. Some are funny, some are serious, so it should be interesting.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I stumbled on one of your videos at one point, or maybe one of our listeners actually sent it in to us, but I found it delightful.
Well, thank you.
And I thought, you know what? This gal has something going for her. And then I thought, why did I just use the word gal? And then
I don't know.
and then I was hard on myself.
Okay.
Well, where can people find you on the intertubes?
You could just go to youtube.com/Jaclyn, Jaclyn, and that should be me.
All right.
So,
All
yeah.
right, cool. And do you tweet? Do you
Yeah,
do you do the Twitters
I do
and
the
things?
Twitter. I do the Twitter. You can find me at Twitter and Facebook. It's the same handle as my YouTube channel, so it's just Jaclyn Glenn, Glenn. So that's where you can find me on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and everything.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on the show and chatting with us, and
Sure, no
hopefully we'll bump into each other as things
Yeah,
happen
thanks for
in
having
the
me.
world. All right, awesome.
Cool. Thanks for coming on.
Well, thanks, ladies. That was fantastic.
Very interesting.
They're I'm glad that they're in our movement.
Yeah, me
Both
too.
of them in their various capacities.
So many girly voices on this episode.
Right? It's great.
Yep.
We need more femininity. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
So also, I'm glad that Mackenzie does our Facebook page because that's really helpful. Thanks, Mackenzie, for all of your hard and diligent work. Really appreciate that. And I also want to thank the Red Rock Hot Club for generously letting us use their music. And I really want to thank Miss Rachel because you saved us last minute. This was a last minute thing.
Absolutely. This was a great time.
You stepped in like a champ.
Oh, thank you.
You're rocking and rolling it. So,
I was
you.
worried you were going to make me prove I was an atheist or something.
Like how?
Some sort of credential.
Yeah, show your A card. I'm pretty sure Adam, who Frank always has sub on, doesn't even call himself an atheist.
Oh, really?
It's like cheating. He's like he uses that agnostic word sometimes and stuff. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for filling in, and thank all of y'all for listening. And hey, have a great week, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.